My name is Xavier Walker. I'm in ninth grade. I'm 15, and I am a student at New Road School. I remember we were playing not Father's Day. It was a summer tournament. It was a summer tournament, and we have like multiple tournaments throughout the summer. And I remember one of them. It was a championship game, and it was 2 outs, bases loaded. I was up to hit, and it was the bottom of the seventh, last at bat, and it was tied. I just like dream of this stuff, and I came up to the plate, but I stepped out of the box and I looked at my dad, and he just like told me words of encouragement. I stepped back in, and I was there. I was just ready, and I've never been like that ready in my entire life. Just like game time ready for like that one swing big moment. And first pitch was a ball. I was like, okay, let me breathe. So I was like really jittery, and then that second pitch, it was like a T. It came down the middle and hit an absolute bomb to right center, and I scored 2 runs to win the game. And that just I mean, my team was coming after me. They were tackling me, all that, and was spraying water at me. It was a huge moment, like one of the best moments I could ever remember from when I was younger playing travel ball.
From New Road School in Santa Monica, California, this is Village Voices, intergenerational conversations that cultivate an expanding curiosity about the world and its people. This is episode 3, Summer Memories.
Hi, my name is Nahla and I'm in first grade, and my favorite summer memory was when it was my birthday, and when 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 I went to the beach with my mommy and daddy, and when I went to Palm Springs, and I have lots of summer memories that I can't fit them all in for my friends. Hi, my name is Giuliana. I'm in first grade, and my favorite summer memory was when my brother's baby shower. We played lots of games, and it was really fun. And and one of my favorite games was giving food to the baby. And I had to close my eyes.
Why?
Because it's like a paper, and then I had the spoon, but a paper spoon, and then I just tried to put it in his mouth.
My favorite summer memory is when I went to Hawaii with my family, and with my dad, I climbed to the top of Diamond Head, and we saw mongoose, and then we went all the way back down.
I'm Sara, and I am the one of the English teachers in the high school, and I also teach mysteries. So I used to teach full-time summer school at a different school in Hancock Park until my children were 5 and 2, and that's when I stopped teaching during the summer, and that's when I started really embracing time off. So what I do in the summer is absolutely nothing. And by that I mean I do absolutely nothing. And when my kids were little, that meant we would, empty the refrigerator into a cooler and go to the beach until the sun went down, day after day after day, until we got tired of that. We could go to the park as my kids got older and have their own things going on. For me, I just, I don't email. I don't go on my computer. I'm not a big phone person. So I really check out. And I think when you think about summer, or when I think about summer, just seasonally, it is really a season for, I think, like rejuvenation or kind of letting things germinate and marinate. I feel like being a teacher, September to June is so intense. It always takes me a few weeks for my mind to settle down. And then not having any schedule and doing whatever I want on my own time, or if I'm sharing that with my children, it's just the best. It is incredible. And I think it's a really necessary space to be in. And I've always encouraged it in my children, especially this day and age, because they just can't just get a break mentally from things.
I've just had so many experiences with my friends that I wasn't sure if I was going to have when I came here, that have just kind of made my teenhood just so wonderful and lovely to look back on. I'm Asher. I'm a junior at New Roads. And I came here in 9th grade. During last summer, there was one memory that I actually written a short story about just because I love this memory so much, was with my same group of people. I guess I will introduce you to them. It's Gus, Jack, Cy, Dominic, Julia, and Isaiah. And so our little group, we had all gone camping at Leo Korea, which is just a little bit north of here. And Gus had his car, and we drove down the PCH and kind of curved off into these little side streets. So then we eventually just found this little pathway that went down to this cove area where no one was at. And we took all of our stuff and we walked down there. And Gus is, I think, the most spontaneous one of the group. This time, it was really cold. So it was the beginning of summer. The water hadn't warmed up yet. So it was freezing. And it was kind of a little bit overcast that day. It was kind of fading in between sunny and cloudy. So it wasn't particularly hot outside. But Gus climbed up on this rock on the beach and then pointed out to these other rocks out on the beach. He's like, we should go swim to those. And then we were like, what? Why would we ever do that? Like, we had felt the water and it was freezing cold. And then he just took off his shirt and he was in his swim trunks and he just ran into the water. And then me and my friend Julia both looked at each other. And then she's like, on the count of 3. And then she counted down from 3, and then at 1 we just ran as fast as we could. So I didn't really get a chance to regret my decision until it was too late because it was so freezing. And I'm sure if there were people watching, there was actually a guy that had seen us and he came down and he's like, it's so cold, I can't believe you guys went in. And we were like, well, yeah. And anyways, we swam out to these little rocks that were propped just, close to the shore, but maybe like, 20 yards or something. It wasn't extremely far, but it felt like it when we were swimming. And I was like shaking and waves were coming and pushing us, and the rocks were covered in these clams, so it was sharp. And Isaiah cut himself a few times actually and ruined Jack's towel because he wiped off the blood with it. But eventually a wave came and I used the leverage of that to get up on the rock. And then because I had been so cold before, even though it wasn't much warmer outside, I felt so warm because of the temperature difference, I guess, since the water was so cold and then my body temperature had gone down. And when I got out, it was like the most euphoric feeling ever. So I get why people do ice baths now, because it makes more sense to me. But it's just like this overwhelming feeling of warmth, even though there was like wind and it wasn't really sunny outside. That was, I think, my all-time favorite memory from summer. I'm not sure why, but I just love to think about it a lot, and which is why I wrote a short story about it for my English class, just because it was just like this wonderful experience that I just felt so like happy. And yeah, that's that.
So I'm Jared Phillips. I am a biology teacher here at New Roads. This is actually my first year teaching here. This is the summer of 2016. So this was actually the summer, after my first year teaching. And so a bunch of friends of mine and I decided to go to Southeast Asia for the summer. So we were there for about 6 weeks. We went to Thailand, Cambodia, and then this story is actually from Myanmar. We went to, there were like 3 main locations in Myanmar where you go. And we went to one that was called Inle Lake. So it's like this really cool lake that has like floating gardens and like villages all along it, and you like rent boats, and it's fun. Anyway, we decided to do a bike ride around the lake. And so at this point, some of our friends had to go back to work. So there were only 3 of us. We rented bikes and we're biking. So this is in rural Myanmar, pretty impoverished, like just very out there. And so we're riding a bike around the lake and we get to like a T intersection and we're stopped and we're trying to figure out, do we go left or right? And so there is there's like somebody on a motorcycle, and then like there like people will just like find somebody with a motorcycle and just pay them a little money and get a ride home, which they do in a lot of countries. But there's like this old lady with all her groceries, and she's on the back of this motorcycle, and you see her going by on the motorcycle. This guy, and I guess she's paid him so they can give her a ride. There's another guy with a motorcycle or a motorbike, I guess, coming behind them, and he doesn't ring his like horn or his little bell to let them know that he's about to pass. And so he just kind of comes up and like he hits them, and we're just standing at this intersection like off our bikes, like just watching this. And like I just remember it seemed like it was in slow motion, because it was like, so the old woman goes flying through the air. And like I remember the guy on the motorcycle, the bike just fell and he like fell underneath it. But the old lady, she went flying in the air. And so like I was super concerned about her. And so we're just like standing here at this intersection like, oh my God, like, whoa, like what is this? And so, wow. So we run over to the older woman first to see how she's doing. She's just fine. She just gets up, she grabs her bags, and she's like furious. The guy on the motorcycle takes him a little longer, but he gets up, whatever, he's cool. The problem is the guy who actually hit them. He's just lying there in the middle of the road, like not moving, nothing. We're like, okay, what do we do? And so my friends, this is so dumb of us, but we didn't really know, like, who do you call? Like, what's 911? Like, we don't have any idea what's going on, which is not a good idea. I guess you should be more prepared than that. But we had no idea. And so my friends, they had data. I didn't get a SIM card. I think it was too cheap or something. And so they were like just like trying to figure out how do we like call, who do we call, whatever. They're just calling numbers. No one's answering. Meanwhile, I'm with the guy who's on the ground, and the guy in the motorcycle and the old woman are over there with the guy, and the old woman is just yelling at this man who's passed out. Like, she's just furious. She's just yelling. And the guy on the motorcycle, he picks up the guy, right? Like, he puts his arms underneath. The guy's unconscious. Puts his arms underneath the guy's arms and just starts bouncing him around. And so I say, no. I'm yelling like, no, you can't do that, no. And so he like stops for a second. He looks at me and like he's thinking about what I'm saying. And then he just goes back to bouncing the guy. And I'm like, oh my, this guy's back, his neck is broken, like he's done for. So then, so I'm just like, no, you can't do that, like whatever. So he stops doing that and instead switches to slapping the man. Starts slapping the man repeatedly across the face. And he's yelling, I guess he's saying like, wake up or something. I don't know. So he's just slapping him so hard. And I'm just like, what is this? This is crazy. I said, no, you can't do that. My friends are trying to call, whatever. So this guy is there. Now at this point, there's like a little village at this intersection. And so the villagers come out and there is like a nice little crowd now at this point. And so they put the guy back on the ground. A tourist couple happens to come behind us also on bikes. And we're like, we need a doctor, like something, we need help for this guy. And so the woman says, doctor, yes. And she points to her husband, I guess it was, or whatever. And so he pulls up and he looks at him and he shrugs and just shakes his head. And they get back on the bikes and ride off. And I'm just sitting here like, this can't be real. This man is like just lying on the ground, like unconscious or whatever. So now some of the villagers have started slapping him again. And this time he does come conscious again. And it was like nothing happened. Like he's like, oh, okay. Wow, that was crazy. And that was it. I don't know what he said, but he said some words. I assume that's what he said. That was crazy. But he said some words and like just got up and they walked over to like a little like lean-to shed. And that was the end of that. And so we got on our bikes and rode back off, just kept going around the lake.
It's surreal.
Crazy, yes. It was like, what? It was so stressful in the moment. And I'm just like, this man, like, oh my gosh. And like them slapping him. And I'm just like, the truck. I tried to get the truck and it didn't work. But
Today's episode featured Xavier Walker, Sara Hammerman, Jared Phillips, Asher, and first grade students Veer, Nahla, and Giuliana. Original music by New Roads student Isaiah Brody and New Roads teacher Ruben Ramos. Production by me, Dan Kearney. I'm also the 8th grade history teacher here at New Roads. Join us when school kicks off in August for Season 2 and more voices from the village of New Roads School.